Rastafari clean out. Babylon them a pull down. Babylon them a pull down. When I stamp on the stamp ground.
So people, man, this is Bablyon and Buddhism. Thank you so much for coming down. Obviously we all know each other quite well for different reasons. I've known of you throughout my whole life, which is mad. First of all, I'm going to address that. I always wear ordinary, right? People always see it, and there's a reason I always wear ordinary. And it's because of this beautiful soul that I kind of came across, like a year ago is when we really connected, right?
Yeah.
And we found each other and found each other seeking spirit. And she has a brand called Ordinary, and you'll understand this being an SGI member, we are all about the ordinary people taking over. The hierarchical pyramid is the ordinary people at the bottom being the leaders. So it's almost like we're at the top. So do you know what I'm saying? So ordinary people is what we stand for. Daisako Akita talks about ordinary people a lot. Nichiren Daishonin talks about ordinary. She came along, we started talking about Buddhism, and then her brand was naturally ordinary anyway. It was definitely something quite guided. And I'm very proud to wear it. So she's the owner and also a musician and just a general creative person. But let me just introduce yourself, if that's cool.
So as you were saying, I'm a creative, but I do loads of things as well. I like to write, drama, music, art, in terms of the actual drawing form of art. I just love everything in terms of creativity. And Ordinary came about sort of for the same reasons, you know. I used to wear name brand clothes and think that I was on top of everyone else until I realised actually this is just an ordinary hat, it's an ordinary jumper, I'm an ordinary person. So it's almost like the pyramid that you were talking about. That's how I saw it with clothes, you know. So that's how the brand came about. And yeah, I've been doing music for about 14 years now. And yeah, just positive motivational music, that's really what I'm about. Music with a message.
Definitely.
That's my
And
lifestyle.
I feel like she's always kind of been like that, because anyone from South, it's weird, like even like my ex-girlfriend who was like a white girl from Cheam, and she was like, yo, yeah, I even know about Sloozy.
How about
So like we were like, everyone by the room in here is from Mitcham. So it's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people from Mitcham. We all know of Sloozy. You may not have, slightly different generation. But yeah, let's go, like growing up, it was all you. And it was never anything just crazy negative. And now it's like ridiculously empowering.
Yeah.
So Sharna Kane, everyone, she doesn't go by Sloozy anymore. Expansion. And now I also have Ryan. I want to introduce you as the Sutton East District Men's Leader. Is that correct?
Yeah, Sutton East District
Young Men's Leader.
Young Men's Leader.
So really, basically, what can you just even explain what that means to you? Because a lot of people are often like, what does a district mean and stuff when it comes to the SGI?
Well, Sutton's divided into two. The Sutton District is divided into two chapters: Sutton East and Sutton West.
Yeah.
But that's not because of any kind of territorial thing. There were too many for one, so it had to be divided up. So it was decided to do East and West. And the Young Men's Division, which is there's no strict age limit, but it's roughly like 40 to 18.
Yeah.
Or 18 to 40.
18 to 40 makes sense.
If you would say it in the logical, coherent way.
Which is an old age, 40, to be considered a young man. But it shows you the kind of length of growth we have to go through.
Yeah, exactly. And you transfer from young men's to men's entirely voluntarily. No one ever pushes you or says you have to, you know.
Piss off now. Like,
basically, go away, granddad. Yes, so I basically, I'm not like in charge in any kind of like hierarchical sense, but basically I help organise things.
He's the plug.
Help people get to meetings.
Basically,
sort of, and rally people and make sure people know where meetings are, where they are, give out guidance and things like that, and organise and just facilitate, essentially. I'm more of a sort of chairperson than a leader in any. I know we use the word leader, but it's more like a rallying point, I suppose.
I think people have bad like feelings towards words like leaders and stuff, and because of the leaders that we're seeing in the world right now, you think, no, I don't want to. Leaders are all wrong because they're doing it to us wrong. But we need hierarchical kind of systems in a sense. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's I think anyway, it's good to have someone who is like the head of a herd. But you would also sit there with all your young men and say, we are one completely. I'm just the person who might know a little bit more, so you're coming to me so I can guide you.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean? That's all it is, and that's kind of...
And help people bring out the best in themselves, you know? It's because it's all about self-empowerment. So it's not about, for example, me saying, we're doing this. I might say, okay, this is our sort of time slot. should we do this? What are your ideas? And we discuss it rather than any kind of finger pointing, any didactic kind of telling.
I think that's a beautiful way to lead on to what the day is today, which is the 8th of June, right? 8th of June.
Yep.
8th of June, and I want everyone to know that this day, I want my great grandchildren to know that I was actively, the first time in my life, I registered to vote. And first, I'm going to go into it, but yeah, this is kind of like what we are going to be talking about in a minute.
Oh my god!
Have you seen this yet?
No.
Oh man, well, we're gonna. It's important to read these things on days like this to understand what the mass are understanding and to kind of step into it. But my whole life I had a Rastafarian stepdad and stuff, and he was always like, politics is politricks. Like there's no way that it's ever going to change. Until I read a book called The Celestine Prophecy and I started chanting, which is my Buddhist side, and I realized that politics is one of the main ways we can change, and it has to change, and humans can actually take part in making it happen. I think we've seen so many false leaders with abusing their power that we can't believe that it's possible. But I've seen the future, man, and the future is a world where we have leaders like you, like Jeremy Corbyn, who I voted for. First mention.
Can we put like a Jeremy Corbyn like tick box thing?
Something like that. Yeah. So Jeremy Corbyn to me represents for the first time someone who, I think you told me just before, he's never lost an election. Like, what does that mean? It means that the many are seeing something different in him.
His Islington North majority is like 22,000. It's like the biggest majority in London.
It's incredible, but you don't see that when you look at the front page of a newspaper. But I'm not even going to jump there too far because that's a whole madness. So yeah, I voted today, and I went into the place, and I didn't have a pen, so I scrubbed that black marking. You know me and my conspiracies. Like, I was like, they can't rub this out. Proper made it obvious that Jeremy Corbyn's my choice, and I think that he really represents a future. For me, as an SGI Buddhist, we talk, and I performed at something called the Festival at Hope at Taplow Court, which was a festival for the someone help me, I can't say words sometimes. Abomination of nuclear weapons, which is the second president of the SGI, Jose Toda, spoke up in 1956, I believe, if I'm in the room with you all now, it's not correct. And Jeremy Corbyn from the beginning has said nuclear weapons aren't correct. And in my opinion, anyone in this day and age that even suggests that we can potentially kill bare innocent people in order to kill one person, I don't care if it makes we're so vulnerable, it is not correct and it's not right. And he's the only one doing it. And then on my conspiracy stuff, anyone that's absolutely trying to make us petrified of what he stands for, that's the truth to me then. You know, on some Rupert Murdoch shit, if he owns the Sun, I don't even know, but if they clearly have an agenda, it literally says, vote Tory at the top.
Yeah. With an X, you know.
With an X, you know, like vote Tory, or let me read this. Today, you can rescue Britain from the catastrophe of a takeover by Labour's hard left extremist. He's a Marxist extremist. He's a puppet of the unions. An enemy of business, destroyer of jobs, useless on Brexit, and a terrorist friend. Soon they'll be saying he also prays 5 times a day and he might be Muslim. Like, they're going to do everything they can, to absolutely make us hate him.
Notice the use of the word extremist twice.
Extremist,
that's a hot word right now.
And there's flies on him, and like it's just mad. So what's your guys' views, first of all, on politics? Do you believe your one vote makes a change? Do you believe individually we have power?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, all power ultimately comes from individuals willing to say no, because if you don't, the problem is, even if you think democracy is a charade, they're still going through with it, and the votes still happen, and they still know who wants what from this to the extent
they've got their agenda. Yeah.
There is that agenda at work, and ultimately power derives from how many individuals you can control. And I'm arguing from a kind of a right-wing fascist point of view here, rather than anything more enlightened. So yes, absolutely. The thing is, the individual has power over themselves. If you've got power over yourself, then you have power to influence others, and by that rationale, you expand that far enough. You've got people like the Tea Party. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Trying to get control and, like you said, confuse, bewilder, and make scared all of these people, but they're all individuals, and people do homogenise and lump together in certain situations. But the fact is, you are still at the end of the day controlling a vast quantity of individuals, one way or another. So very long rambling answer to it, but yes, the individual does have power.
And we have great power, and that power, I think, for the first time in my life, and I'm going to be 29 the next time I can do this, and I don't know if I would vote again. For something Russell Brand said, he said, don't vote for the system until you see something worth voting for. Then you can vote, and that changed my idea. It was like, now I think I was pushing away the idea that evil. I was believing he's a reptile or something, like he's still like, he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's actually evil, but there's too much proof and love, and I just trust my own energy and my itching that he is like something powerful. Did you vote today?
Yeah, I voted today. I voted for Labour, of course. I feel like he represents the people more like than anything. Like I'm not really into politics, because I believe in individuals and strength in numbers. As a community, there's more things that we can do, you know, down here on a lower level scale of things. However, I do think it's important to vote, just because, you know, we need to show that together we can make change as well. Like, okay, he's gonna maybe come into power, whether he wins or not. But it's still about the people. It's us. I feel like it's us that's really going to make the difference. Do you know what I mean? But I did vote Labour today. I'm not really into, as I said, not really into the whole politics, but I did it because I believe he's for the people.
Leave remind, man. Like, I've got involved in politics a little bit. Me and a friend of mine called Rusta J, we had joined a political party called Sister, and it was all about getting the drug reform on marijuana removed, because whatever you think of weed, it's if you've got any bad feelings about it, it's not the truth. Not that I sit here puffing it down every day. What the truth is, though, that every illness potentially can be cured quicker. I'm not talking about the skunk you buy from a 17-year-old on a ped in like South Sutton. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about good marijuana. Today alone, something like 100,000 people would have died from some kind of alcohol abuse or liver, but yet that's taxable. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something he's going to do. I don't know if anyone knows. He's going to bring back marijuana. He said he's going to try and do that. Anyone know about that or hear it?
I didn't even know that.
It's not in his official manifesto, but I think it's something that he believes in.
Yeah, he can't sadly because of
too many
conservative
ideas in your first.
He's sitting there with a massive
We're all going to be hippies and like burning like
vote for me.
Strange.
It's true. It's true.
Because everyone wants to get high.
It is an odd historical anomaly that, at least a recent historical anomaly, if such a thing can exist, that this country is so utterly backwards on just marijuana, ignoring any other kind of recreational drug, but marijuana especially, how incredibly backwards this country is. When you look at America, which is a far more conservative, religiously extreme country, they've legalised it in so many of the states. I mean, obviously you've got the red states that are colourful in their attitude, who haven't, but you can literally buy it recreationally in a lot of states.
It's amazing,
and getting a medical permit to get one is so ludicrously easy. You go
Can't sleep.
Yeah, I get night blindness. That was my favourite one. I go blind at night. You know,
there you are, sir.
Yeah.
So because the doctors know, and the BMA, the British Medical Association in this country, I've said for years, marijuana is absolutely fine. It's safe.
Yeah.
You know, the amount you have to take to have it have any ill effect on you is precisely the same quantity of if you took anything that much, it would have an ill effect. You drank that much water, it would have an ill effect.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
and it's like, I think Colorado showed that they made like $1 million first day, didn't they, in taxes?
Yeah, I mean they've done so much to improve infrastructure and education, all kinds of things, because people want it, and it doesn't hurt anyone. All it does is make you want
that
pizza.
really confuses me. It makes me feel
Make you a pizza. I feel like it's a conscious.
It makes me feel sick, man. That like they own us, man. They can't, like, something that's on this planet, and they're telling us we can't have it, but yet they make stuff and say we can have it, and it's like, do you know what I'm saying? It's so mad that we live in that kind of world where there's so much like distorted lies, and I don't know, man. I was tripping out just watching the news this morning with my mum, just going like, this world is actually disgustingly, crazily mad. But I think it's the best time to be alive because it's so mad, because the agenda's coming to the end. They're pushing so much fear now, because the truth is rising on a consciousness level. This is where we're bringing spiritual stuff in now, It's like indigo children, bodhisattvas, Muslims and Jews who have been praying for a high vibrational world where people don't have to work every single day. Like, I see the future, man, and in the future, 3 people will do the job of 1 person, because people will be working on their consciousness. And then when you work on your consciousness, money starts coming in quicker because it will start becoming aligned. People don't see the future because there's so much activity in the mind stopping us from even moving forward.
They don't want us to see the future.
They don't want us to
Do
see
you know
that
what I
future,
mean?
which is like avatars. Like, do you know what I'm saying? We should all have dreadlocks floating on barefoot like fairies eventually, or like in Atlantis times. Like, we're so much more than humans.
Yeah.
Well, we are humans, but you know what I mean. Like, we have so much more
Consciously,
capacity as a human. We're so blocked, and that's why they're pushing this fear. I'm just gonna show this as well quickly. This is second page. It literally just says crap behind him. Like, it's just the madness. And I love the Sun Man. I used to love turning to page 3 and shit. Like, huh?
No, there's no. There's no pretense.
It's the only good thing about him, man.
Yeah.
There's no pretense for it even remotely being used or reporting anything approaching a fact.
And I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but this is the Metro. This is obviously this is the even more common one where everyone's gonna get it for free. I don't even know who these brothers are. Like, I don't. It's literally been Theresa May and Jeremy. Like, and I literally forgot this morning. Like, these are all people you can still vote for. I was like, raw. Like,
when you saw your paper in it, you realised,
Yeah,
wow,
I was
there's
like,
actually like
raw.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
and then what made me really sick is this, and it says 20 for 1 for Theresa May, Ladbrokes, yeah? And it just made me think, do you know what, yeah?
That's a deal,
These
though.
people are becoming the leaders of humanity. It's a deal, yeah? But like,
What time does that finish? What time? We got time to get there now.
£10 on that.
Please, we got
life
time.
savings.
Let's
Yeah.
go, man. I want £20 of everyone.
But it's perception reinforcing and creating reality. You tell people it's 20-1 Theresa May, people think, oh, 21 Theresa May, I better vote for her, she's going to win, kind of thing. You create it, you know, the same way you say, oh, this company,
That's mad.
they've
that
had
you
a
can say
bad
that.
deal going on, there's a bad, you know, this company's had a bad deal going on and it's going to cause all this problems with them and the stock's going to plummet and they're going to have to fire everyone. Everyone believes it, and suddenly it creates a situation wherein they lose all their money and have to fire people. It's not reality; it's the perception of reality.
And I think it's just all common sense as well. Like, we're obviously young people, like working class, and are looking out for our best interests, which are in the hands of Jeremy Corbyn. Where it's not even from like a Bablyon or whatever you want to call it, like a conspiracy theory sense. The papers are looking out for their best interests, and Jeremy Corbyn wants to raise corporation tax,
100%.
wants to raise tax at like above 80 grand, and wants to, you know, crack down on tax avoidance and stuff. So they're just looking out for their best interests, and their best interests aren't in Jeremy Corbyn's hands; they're in Theresa May's.
It's so fucking true.
Yeah, it's the business equivalent of white male privilege.
Yeah.
They're so used to paying nothing and having all their wealth and accumulating more wealth that the idea they might have to incrementally pay a little bit more that they can afford to help people who need it terrifies them.
I saw I heard the most interesting thing on LBC radio. James O'Brien, big up James O'Brien. He's
He's the G in it. Been talking from day one.
This guy called up and he was like, I earn 100 grand a year. I don't see why I have to pay more. So these people who don't work can get free NHS, can get free houses, etc. Why don't, if they can't afford? Then he was like, what about people who work hard but they just don't earn enough money? And he was like, well, they need to work harder, start working weekends, like put some hustle in, etc.
Put some hustle
and
in.
then the guy, James O'Brien, asked him, what car do you drive? And this is when he was a prick. He was like, a Murky B. So I was like, oh, I was like, please. And he's like, how many bedrooms, James O'Brien was like, how many bedrooms does your house have? He's like, 5. And he's like, well, if these new laws come in, guess who's going to have to work harder and start working weekends if you want to keep your Murky B and you want to keep your 5-bedroom house? Why don't you get a 4-bedroom house? Drive a Volkswagen. And the guy was like, Dan, he's like, you've lost. Put the phone down, you've lost. Privilege, like, and just absolutely slayed him. And that just shows again that people look out for their best interest. Even if they have enough, they won't give up a small amount, which it is a small amount because 80 grand, it's only you get taxed extra on what you earn above 80 grand. So the people won't give up a little bit for the, you know, the
masses.
good fortune of the
people.
masses.
It shows you how like everyone's like me. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm someone who was I used to say like, if you have millions of pounds there, you shouldn't have to give millions just because you've achieved millions. But at the same time, like when do you know what? I hear everything you're saying, yeah. But then it all comes down to this though: the Queen of England just could sell her gold in it, and we'd all like the whole country would be like trillions of pounds we would have. So at the same time, like all of that makes sense. But then the rich could keep their richness and they could just do their thing away from me. Like, do you know what I mean? So like it all just gets sick when you really think about how like it could actually just like that. Yeah. So I understand people being selfish, but they're still at the bottom of the pyramid towards the people that actually run this and shit.
You know, the Queen of England owns Regent Street. You know Regent Street, Oxford Street, the shops.
Yeah.
The shops rent from the Queen, and the Queen receives
No way,
that
you
money
knew
as
this?
income.
Well, so I worked in a Queen-owned shop. That's mad. I worked in Oxford Street, guys.
You go straight to the state, like the
No, I never knew
So
that.
wait, my face-
I never knew that. Wow.
My face, yeah, which is on JD, is on a Babylon, proper Babylon thing. Like, I'm the face of it. I'm like, hi, Queen. Like, I'm gonna come for you, man. Take your skin from you.
Because people talk about the Queen. The Queen.
Sorry, oil.
They talk about the Queen, the royal family being part of British tradition and heritage and all that stuff. They forget that ultimately it was just her family killed another family and took what they owned.
Yeah, and that's what people don't know any of this. Yeah,
It's not. They're not chosen of God or anything like that.
chosen of God.
Well, they claim this. God.
Royal blood. Yeah,
God
yeah.
approves of it, and this whole blue blood fast and all that stuff. But it's not true. They are the ultimate manifestation of capitalism in a weird way, because they just
egotism.
took property and money through force of arms.
Yeah,
That's what it comes to. And now they don't have to do that anymore because we say we're more evolved, more refined. But basically, they get money from people and the rent from region. They didn't do anything for that. They just killed the right people, basically.
Yeah.
So,
and did it very smartly and had a lot of friends.
And in the year of Brexit, they're mostly German and Spanish.
yeah, well, let's not forget it was the House of Hanover until the First World War, and then they changed their name to Windsor.
Yeah.
So it's all a false equivalency anyway. They're no more British than Schicklgruber was. I know it's a bit extreme, but you know.
All right, guys, I'm going to bring this into some Buddhist talk now. June the 8th, right? Is the date, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is our daily guidance, a book that me and Ryan would read. I'm guessing a lot. I'm guessing you read your daily guidance
Pretty
every
much,
day,
yeah.
So for today and for tomorrow, daily encouragement, and every day, it's the idea that instead of jumping on Instagram and seeing tits and drugs, I can pump my energy with something more positive before I turn my phone on. And I really recommend it. I've done it better. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in other podcasts. When you wake up, make sure you channel your energy into something high vibrational before you jump on the social devilish devil's
Media.
cabbage web. I just had to. I love the word devil's cabbage, by the way, for marijuana. Anyway, so President Toda often said that the final 4 or 5 years of one's life are decisive. No matter how good the preceding years may have been, one's life ends in defeat and sadness if the final years are miserable. On the other hand, someone whose last 4 or 5 years are happy and filled with joy can be described as a winner in life. No matter what happens, even if we should fall sick, we must never be discouraged or allow ourselves to be defeated. This is vital. As long as our spirits are undefeated, we are victors. Victors? Victors.
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 You can say it either way.
So for me, I read this earlier. I was in a line. I've decided not to really go to many castings now for Fashion Week because it just drains my soul. Literally, like, I'll be in a line for like hours with like 17-year-olds and they're all just talking about Burberry. So
Talk about what?
Burberry and Prada. Like, I walked for Prada, and they're like combing their hair when I'm standing there, like zogged, like just bare bored, like so. I really like this because it makes me realize that, first of all, I'm just so inspired. I'm guessing when we all see someone who's really old and they're just mad, like full of life energy, you're just like, I want to be like that when I'm older. And it makes you realize that. And I've said this in another podcast, like Daisaku Akida, he still says, I believe, we the youth, right? Or it was Jose Toda, but they like, even these people that are so old, they refer to themselves as being youthful, and it is a life state. And 80 years, 100 years is a blip in the course of humanity, and this whole vast universe is nothing. So to have a youthful spirit must do amazing things to like what you draw in your own life. So that was that. I'm also just going to bring up two, as I always do on Babylon and Buddhism, 2 pieces of news that I just feel are more inspiring. Every time I turn on BBC, the Babylon Broadcasting Communication News Channel, there's always just some bullshit. Yeah, there's some lies and there's something that's covered up, and I don't even want to go into it how much like the terrorist attacks in London right now are false flag operations, but that's a whole nother deep story. So this is just something I really love. This is on sunnyskies.com. Muslim man saves 64 Christians. Imagine, interracial. Muslim man saves 64 Christians from being executed by terrorists in the Philippines. A Muslim man in the Philippines has been hailed as a hero for providing shelter to 64 Christians in his home while terrorists were hunting them. What does that make you feel like? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because to me, it's something very obvious. It's, wow, a Muslim has been good. Not that I believe that Muslims can't be good. I'm just saying it's mad. Like, why is this not on the news? This would just instantly change the way everyone thinks about Muslims.
The vibration as well would definitely change the vibration. Like, we could actually be together.
Yeah.
This is togetherness. That's why it won't be on the news, because the news is all separation.
Oh yeah, the news is division.
Like division.
The news is division, and that's edition, if you want to extend the metaphor.
Yeah.
That's all of us, as everyone being one, because it's not like he went in there and went, excuse me, what religion are you? What religion are you? Before he saved every one of them. You know?
What religion are you?
I mean, you know,
Fuck off.
unless it's the Flash or something. But and so that's hugely inspiring. This is a person who risked his own life to save
64 people.
64 people who, you know, the news, I mean, obviously he's in the Philippines, but in the West, we're constantly told, no, these people are the bogeymen.
Yeah.
So no, that's huge. That's hugely inspiring, and it's also, and the thing is, it's also like vastly a part of basic humanity, because you ask 99% of people on the street, they're not going to care. You know, they're like, oh, you know, I'm having a sandwich. Leave me alone. I don't care what you believe or what you look like or anything like that. But news outlets and political parties try and divide us and make us think this person is slightly different to me in this way, shape, or form. You know, they divide us all into like they make us think there's more than one race when it's not. It's just the human race. And this guy's a huge exemplar of that. He's gone in and saved people because they're people and they needed saving.
Need help.
Humanity.
And that's
Humanity. That's what I like about it as well. I don't think it matters where he's from or what he believes in. If he's got glasses, grey hair, you know, if he likes to eat, or just Hovis bread instead of
exactly.
You know, he's saving people, and I think the things they highlight are what they want you to focus on. Really, that's
Trust me,
totally irrelevant.
And I don't know if
saved people.
I don't know if any of you have done this, but I can hands on my heart say I've done it many times in my life because I'm still growing and having faith in my own truth, which is to trust my instincts. But when like 9/11 would have happened, or when random terrorist attacks happen, and a Muslim brother comes on the train, I'm talking about, you know, your classic Muslim, not just like slightly brown. I'm talking about whole thing. You're just thinking like, rah, like should I just get off? Like you know, like I've done that innit myself at first. You're not 100% sure. Like downstairs, they're building a mosque where I live, and it's like there's like been prayer rooms, and I've had people come up to me because of all the propaganda, especially recently on like the whole like the London Bridge stuff, and they're literally saying like, "No, man, I'm pretty sure it's ISIS and stuff." Like, and like because they've been there like drilling away for so long, but they're drilling to make their prayer room. They're not drilling to like go on a mad. But if they had this news on the news, you would realise that people might just walk past them and go, maybe they are just trying to develop their spirituality and faith, like how I am.
It's division.
Doing
it's
it,
division,
yeah.
You know?
It's not like every time you see someone with a crucifix or a Piscean fish, you go, oh, might be a Knights Templar, might be on a crusade, better watch out. You know, it's the functional. It's the functional equivalent. It doesn't matter when it was. You lump everyone in with the actions of the few. You know, and it's horrific. I
really hate that we call them the Islamic State, and they still refer to them and honour the name that they've chosen for themselves. I think as like as the West, we should be like, well, if that's what you want to call yourself, that's cool, but we're calling you something else because you cannot bring the word Islam into what you're doing.
But they don't even call them. They call themselves Daesh.
Oh, they got a whole lot of bumbleclot names.
Yeah, they don't even call themselves Islamic State.
Oh, well, okay, well, still, then we call him the Islamic State, which makes it worse because we're like, fuck your name, we're calling you Muslim motherfuckers. That's what they're actually saying. It's actually crazy. And it's very dark and it's very
It's a shame, man.
It's a shame, it's a shame.
Definitely.
So this is another piece of news. A homeless shelter, this is something completely just a bit less amazing, but still pretty cool. Homeless shelter receives £10,000 worth of donations from a former resident. It's just something it's just like wow, there's loads of news I could have picked from, but these two just crazy.
That is karma in action. That is amazing.
Do you know what I mean? You just know that someone touched his soul there. Someone really kind of like connected with him, and he thought, I'm going to give back. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's a former resident.
It's a former resident. He used to be homeless. Yeah. So first of all,
he's clearly got himself out of that situation.
Clearly,
he
like
made money for himself and then gave
back
10,000 that he could have spared.
I think it's so important, man. It's something.
Wow.
That's
what you do
mad,
it for,
isn't
isn't it? Surely that's what you do it for.
It's something like, do you ever give to the Coast and Roofie Fund?
When I can afford it, yeah.
Yeah, man,
absolutely,
like,
yeah. And also, kind of when I can't afford it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, man, because when you can't afford it, that's when the real. So like we just have this fund. Could you explain? Because actually, I haven't done this on. I know Coast and Roofie is, but through experience, I can't explain it really. Like, as in like because I just say Coast and Roofie is a method of changing the world through like Buddhist teachings, and it means like rolling out the mat of his teachings. But I know there's a clearer way of.
How I understand it, basically, is. It's the Buddhist method of achieving world peace, but it's not about just getting rid of weapons or anything like that, or disbanding armies. It's about effectively the enlightenment of society, so that it's not just world peace, it's world harmony and world understanding, and it's basically the end of them and us. It's the realisation that it's all us.
It's all us.
We're all together.
Yeah.
And it's everybody working together and living together in harmony. It's not about changing the apparatus of that. Like, I'll put it this way, it wouldn't be about taking all the weapons away from two armies fighting each other. It would be about talking to the two armies and making them realise there's no need to fight and they're all one person. And then they would get rid of the weapons.
Having like a grassroots movement where
it's more fundamental than just disarmament. For example, it's world peace, and it's world peace achieved within each person rather than just telling people what to do.
Like, follow this, follow that. Like, we have the idea that we want a one-to-one dialogue will change the world. So if I have like a mad opinion, instead of trying to like just say it to everyone, you really like change one person. Let that one person change, have like the metamorphosis experience where they blossom, have their spirituality, and then you kind of like that person ripples out. And it's the idea that imagine 7 billion of us all having this human revolution. Nothing could stop us. We would all have like mountain strength internally and stuff. So that's what Kosen Rufu is. And how do I put this? How do we make people believe in the world that could happen, man? Like, this is like, I think that a lot of people are so in the mind, they don't realize that we can literally have a world where like people don't die. There's such a big question. Obviously, how do we... but like, how do we basically just make people know, keep moving forward?
Well, I mean...
As a Buddhist, because obviously that's what I'm trying to like... People are so lost, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? People are so lost. They have no hope. They have nothing. They're self-harming. They're doing like... Do you know how many people are trying to kill themselves? Like, so many people just have no idea that they're stuck in the mind. This is why I'm going to bring Jose in. We're reading Power of Now. Bring it in. So many people are either stuck in the past and worried about it, or anxious about the future, that they're lost in the present moment. And they're not aligned. They're not like spiritually aligned to the truth. And when you start being present, you realise everything starts changing. But... like, I'm not desperate, because I know that my damoku, my chanting, is going to change the world. So is yours. So is all of the energy of every religion. But so many people, it's almost like some people it's just been too late. Like, you know, they're so racist, and I don't see racist people as like my enemy. I see them as true victims, man. If you look at me and you call me a nigger when I'm on the train, which happens a lot, I literally like send so much pure like white and pink love to you, because I'm like, raw, like what, like an energy state are you in?
Yeah, you're
like
lost.
You actually think I'm less than you, when like it's just so like, just because we're nearly finishing, like what's your kind of like final word to like people that don't know nothing about Buddhism or don't know nothing about our internal power? Do you know what I mean? Like that we have inside of us.
Okay, well, quickly then, 2 things. Just going back to your point, you said earlier about people judging you on the train and everything. Weirdly, I think actually Yoda said it best. He said, when you're confronted with that, he said, hate the act, but pity the person, because they've already lost their own battle with their own dark side. And I think that's
so simple.
And I think that's true. I mean, that's a very Buddhist philosophy. But Yoda was a Buddhist. Let's be honest. Let's read between the lines here.
Buddhism anyway.
Yoda's like the Green Shakyamuni, man.
But
shout out Yoda.
I think it's an internal and external thing. Internally, you have to follow the 3 tenets. You have to have courage, compassion, and wisdom. You have to study and you have to chant. Okay. And you have to have faith, okay? Think of yourself like a mirror that reflects the world. You have to keep yourself bright and clean, because you're the reflection of the world that you see. If you're down on yourself, you'll reflect that outwards, and you'll put out that energy, and other people will see just the darkness. How we change the world is by following the Buddhist practice and bringing that to other people, just by our actions and by our deeds and our thoughts. Okay, it's not a matter of going out and shouting at people saying, come and follow this, you know. It's a matter of just being the example in the world. Again, not to sort of, I mean, I'm quoting someone who's not a Buddhist again, but Gandhi, you've got to be the change you want to see in the world. If you don't do it for yourself, no one else will see that it's possible. You bring hope to people, and that's the crucial element. You bring hope to people by being someone who inspires hope, by being a good person. Because it's very easy to just go, you know what, screw this planet, everyone's a scumbag, I don't like anyone. I'm just gonna, if they're going to be like that, why don't I be like that?
Yeah.
And that is at that point you have.
That's the easiest option.
Yeah, you at that point you've defeated yourself, and you've gone from Yoda to Darth Vader. You know.
Yeah.
And it's crucial that we don't do that. Now at this time, especially at this time, this is a huge... I mean, history is replete with turning points, but this is a huge one. And we've got the last vestiges, and I truly believe that, the last vestiges of fascism and right-wing and that darkness.
Yeah, I agree.
And that will always be with us because that's part of human choice and free will. But, and I apologise for swearing, but Donald Trump and Theresa May are the last vestiges of this. And they are clinging to power and going more and more extreme because that's what all failing power structures do.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire did it. To an extent, the British Empire did it. All extremist power groups that don't have an interest in the people, just in power and attaining more of it, get more extreme as they fail, and they know this.
More fear, more death, more
lies, division, more them and us.
We discussed this on episode with Bashak as well, where we said that as right wing thinking, like fascist thinking, is coming towards an end. That people get desperate. The people who are holding on to that, they get desperate, so they start voting for things that they don't believe in or they don't know, such as Brexit, Trump.
Who really knows about that shit, man?
And then basically that is just the last parts of that thinking just creeping out society, and in a couple of generations when we're all 65 and 70 and voting, it's going to be a totally different situation.
Whole different paradigm.
Yeah, I mean the youth in the Western world at least are overwhelmingly liberal. You look at all the people who registered to vote for this election, all the young people who voted that, overwhelmingly are voting Labour, or at least saying they're going to vote Labour, and they will. Some people have been saying this is a hard sentence for me to say, but the one good thing that will come out of Trump is that the Republican Party has shown its true nature now and have overwhelmingly caused the youth of America to become much more liberal.
Active,
active, and that's the key thing, active.
It's just bringing that energy to the surface, man. Sharna, let me finish with you, man. How do you think we can change the world, and how do you think we can inspire hope and actually show people that the world, that when you're on stage and you're saying kings and queens rise up, what we rising to? Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree with everything you said, actually, in terms of you have to be the change that you want to see.
Man in the mirror, Michael Jackson.
I definitely believe in that whole mirror thing, and I feel like even when I'm on stage, in my head I am my higher self. And I feel like if I don't think like that, I will crumble under the nerves, because as a human, I do still feel nervous. And I'm sure when you go to speak in front of big massive audiences, it's the same sort of feelings. And I just feel like you have to be this higher person that you see, and the person that you want your kids to talk about in generations to come, and people you want to sit next to on the train. You have to be that person. If someone's not smiling, you have to smile. You have to be the leader almost.
Yeah.
You have to do it first, and I feel like that is the core. If you're willing to change your mind and become a role model and show hope and bring hope, then you put it in everyone else. As a young person, I always used to look up to my teachers and stuff, and the teachers in school that were a bit of a character.
Man,
just
I remember
so that
them.
So that you felt like, okay, they're not just robots. Then they're
humans.
They're human.
Remember
They're
Mr.
humans as
Umbo
well.
was for us.
That's exactly who I was thinking.
It was just there's a real brother.
And you remember him. You remember them. You remember them for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that's the type of creative I'm trying to be. And
we're doing that, by the way. That's we're doing people think that energy on us, which is just crazy to think we have that power in it.
Amazing. And when I come off stage, often I'm surprised, wow.
People showing you so much love, shouting ordinary, shouting your lyrics back, and mostly just being there for you.
And they're present as well. It's like they could see the higher person, because sometimes I can't see it. Even when I watch myself back, I'm trying to find things to critique, but they can see the higher person that I'm trying to get to, and I feel like that's where I want to stay. I want to stay on that role model level. And if I can do that, then I can inspire other people. So
trust me, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You class yourself are you because you've got a song called Chanting?
Yeah.
Do you class yourself as a Buddhist?
I'm definitely practicing, 100%. I feel like it's changed my life. I chant every day when I wake up. Sometimes I fall off. I can't lie, as a human. Just in general.
But she's activated something within her.
100% practicing. I got my crystals. I'm there. I'm definitely in my mind. There.
You can tell it in your lyrics as well.
Yeah, it's changed me as a whole.
Slightly, and
It's changed me, man. Yeah, it's changed me.
People are alright, cool. There's a change in the
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Transition.
So-
And even looking at you from afar, because I've known you since, like, I've only known you at little spots in my life, but I've known you
Yeah.
for years.
Throughout it all though, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
Proper.
Like, from the outside looking into your life, just obviously what I see on Instagram, etc. I feel like that you were really good with music, like in a good place with music. Obviously, when you were younger, I feel like maybe you had a bit of a. Did you feel like you lost a love for it at all? Not the love for it, but like you had a stage where you sort of had a little fall for a comeback, like in the last couple of years, like you've come back majorly.
Yeah.
Do you think that's been like? Was that like a journey for you?
Of course,
Was it
definitely.
was there ever a point where you felt like you didn't have like this good energy around you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, it's about the people that you have around you as well. Like that's the major key. Everyone else's energy, you know. And I feel like at that time I wasn't able to extract my own energy from my high source. I wasn't able to see myself as a leader. I felt like I had to follow, and following is what kept me in the hole I was in
a box
until I broke away and thought, actually, no, I don't have to do that. What everyone else is doing, I can be a leader. And basically took life by my own hands and just ran with it. And that's how I've come out of a group now. I'm by myself, and that's where you can see the growth. And when you're by yourself, that's when it really matters, you know. When you're on the train and your thoughts are going on and you're that example for other people, that's when it really matters. And had to break away, you know. Had to break away.
Mad thing. Well, guys, man, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being in this room. Thank you for voting for the damn truth. And there's no other. And Jar Rastafari, we're here. Babylon and Buddhism, innit? Bless, man. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, big up,
appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Rastafari clean now. Babylon them a pull down. Babylon them a pull down. When I stamp on the stamp ground. Rasta you